5111 Sri Virodhinama Samvatsara Magha Masa Shukla Paksha Vidya Shravana Nakshatra Bhanuvasara, the 17th day of January 2010, Sunday, Shubhodayam. Welcome you all for this Maitri Milan session. Yesterday we looked at the 8th shloka from the Jnana Yoga Shloka Sangraha. Today I thought I will give a little background about the 9th shloka. Prajaha yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmanayitushthaha sthita prajnas tatochyate. This shloka is a result of the question from Arjuna to Krishna in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna asked this question, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhi tasya keshava, sthitadhihi kim prabhasita kimasita vrajeta kim. This question becomes a very important question, and these shlokas that follow this question as an answer from Krishna form the most important set of shlokas. In fact, if somebody asks what are the most important 18 set of shlokas that are there in Bhagavad Gita, these shlokas form, because they give the qualities of somebody who is established himself in the state of samadhi, the highest state of realization, nirvikalpa, and that's what is Sthita Prajna, he says. Why this question became important is, until this time, Arjuna was raising objections to Krishna only of the nature of this world. That means how I can do this world, should I fight the war, so many people get killed. These are the questions that he was asking. But this is the first time that there is a paradigm shift in Arjuna's questions. He says, who is that person? What are the qualities of a person who is self-realized? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. What is the way that he talks? And then he asks the question in 3 different levels. It is very beautiful way, 3 different aspects of Sthita prajna. He says, samadhi tasya keshava, sthitadhihi kim prabhasita kimasita vrajeta kim. That means to say, kim prabhasita kimasita. How he shines, how he radiates, prabhasita. Kimasita, how he sits, kim vrajeta. That means what is the way that he manifests himself. These are the 3 different aspects that he asks. Normally, from the point of view of sadhaka, these questions are very important. We particularly as sadhakas should be interested in this question of Arjuna, and that's what Adi Shankaracharya says. In fact, he takes up this particular question of Arjuna, and then he asks that Arjuna, Adi Shankaracharya, his commentary, he says, Arjuna is asking what are the qualities of somebody who is in the spiritually realized person, who is established himself in samadhi, and in what way the answer for this question will help us. In fact, we are at ordinary level, we are at a level where we are caught up with the vasanas, we are at a level where we get into the anger, hatred, jealousy, all these things, and then there is somebody who is sitting in Himalayas, maybe who has gone through meditation, who has gone to the nirvikalpa state, and he has those wonderful qualities, whatever that is. In what way those qualities of a saint, a saintly person, should help us? In fact, anyway we are not there, and those qualities that are discussed in what way they help us. And for that, Shankaracharya gives an answer. That means he takes the Purva Paksha and then he answers. And that answer, Shankaracharya, is very beautiful, very valuable. He says that these qualities that are discussed about the Sthita Prajna in the next 18 shlokas are the most valuable shlokas, not because valuable ideas, not because that they are the qualities of the Sthita Prajna, but these are the qualities that are of the Sthita Prajna, which is mentioned, are the things that we need to practice in our day-to-day life. Yani Sthita Prajnasya Lakshanani, those which are supposed to be the qualities of a Sthita Prajna, Tani Sarve Janaha Sadhana Bhutani. For ordinary people, these are the things which we need to follow. Like for example, a Sthita Prajna is somebody who is Prajahati Yada Kaman. He may be 100% is in the state of that Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan. That way he is, whereas we may be able to do it something like about 5%, 10%. Maybe after some time we might realize that yes, I can do that aspect of it up to about say 20%, 30%. This is what is the yardstick for our progress. Somebody who is a Sthita Prajna is somebody who is not disturbed by the sorrow, not elated unnecessarily by the happiness. Dukkeshu anadvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruhaha. He may be somebody who is in that state. Now what is that we have to learn from that state is that how much that whenever the dukkha comes, how much that I can withdraw from that. He may be instantaneously withdrawing himself from that state, but let me take some time. Like for example, Rama, in Ramayana, the discussion about Rama comes, it shows that what is the kind of freedom that Rama exhibited. Next day he was supposed to be coronated and the preparations are going on and the information they come to know only the previous evening. And then everybody is busy, hustle bustle is going on, and meanwhile we know what happened. Kaikeyi asked for 3 boons, and Dasharatha is supposed to give, and then Kaikeyi summons Rama, saying that Dasharatha, the father, wanted to see Rama, and Rama is coming there. Actually, Rama comes to Dasharatha's place, did not find his father in his palace. Obviously, he thinks that he must be in Kaikeyi's palace. So next he goes to Kaikeyi's palace and he sees a very disturbing situation there. And that's what is, Dasharatha is on the floor, sick, and he is not able to breathe properly, gasping for breath. And then Kaikeyi is there, welcomes Rama, saying that, oh Rama, come here. I think you must be wondering that your father is not in his place. He came here to my place. I'm glad that you came here. And then he does pranam and says, yes, father summoned me. What is the reason? He says, father wanted to tell you something, but his health does not permit him to say. You know, she's very diplomatic. She says his health does not permit him to say. So because of that reason, I will say to you, but this is something which is very serious. And you have to have your composure. You have to be really stable to take this particular message. And what is that message? He says that your father wanted to tell you that you go to the forest for 14 years and then Bharata will take care of the kingdom. And for that means to say Rama heard, next day he was supposed to be coronated. On the other hand, he is supposed to go to the forest for 14 years. Then Rama replies to Kaikeyi saying that, okay, father wanted me to do that, I will do it. But then you said something very serious. What is that serious matter? Means a matter of this nature is not a serious matter for Rama. That means he is not disturbed. In fact, Valmiki, while describing about this particular incident, says that after hearing that news, not even one line on Rama's brow you could find. That means he did not even get disturbed by that. This is what is the ultimate in the level of Dukkeshu Anudvignamana. Can we do that? A small little loss, we are already perturbed, agitated, stomach gets upset, we lose sleep, so many things happen. If we follow this particular path, then can we see that, alright, if not instantaneously we control, but let us try to control in a day or a couple of days. This is what is Dukkeshu Anudvignamana. This is what Shankaracharya says. Whatever the qualities that are given for the Siddha Prajna, these are the qualities which we need to consciously practice. For him it is natural, but for us it is consciously that we need to practice. Yani Siddha Prajnasya Lakshanani Tani Sarve Sadharana Janaha Sadhana Bhutani. These are the things which we need to follow. So that's how essentially all these 18 shlokas become a very, very valuable information for a sadhaka, for a spiritual practitioner. Because these qualities are the qualities ultimately you are supposed to reach. In fact, this is what Krishna, Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. That means to say, you have the enough abilities to see that you can also realize God. You are nothing lacking. Maybe that physically you may have this problem, that problem. You may not have education, you may have education. You may be sick, you may be healthy. Many things may be there. But please understand one thing in your heart of hearts, that you are capable of realizing the divinity. That ultimate you can be. All other things do not matter. That's what is the message that this particular 18 shlokas give us. Another very important aspect is, often when people discuss about meditation, going to the samadhi, going to nirvikalpa samadhi, when all these things people discuss, then they go into all kinds of esoteric information, like, do you see a golden aura around his head? Or do you see that his Agnya Chakra opened, Sahasrara opened? Or do you see that he levitates on the ground? All this kind of things which are non-realistic kind of a thing. Yes, then art has seen different gods in his vision. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has seen God in the vision. Is that important? No. In fact, when you look at this 18 shlokas describing about the Siddha Prajna Lakshana, none of these things are discussed. Or whether he can float on the water, whether he can hold his breath eternally. All these things people think about as if that's what is the yardstick for the measurement of somebody's growth in the spiritual life. But then, if you look at these 18 chapters, these 18 chapters never discuss any of these things. All that it discusses about is the way that how a Siddha Prajna, a person who is self-realized, interacts in the world outside. What is much more important is how you interact in this world. For example, you meditate for hours together and years together in Himalayas, and you may be levitating, or maybe you have seen some golden aura, or maybe you have stampana, take the hold of breath, maybe for about a day or a couple of days, all those things. But when you come back to the world outside, the world is miserable about you, and you are miserable in the world outside. That means you do not connect with the world clearly, nor the world is happy with you, and you are miserable in the whole process. Then why do you have to self-realize? Why do you have to go to that Nirvikalpa Samadhi? It must be something that must be pleasant for you, pleasant for the others. So naturally, the way that the description of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, or somebody who is in the Siddha Prajna, is a person Krishna is discussing. It is all about the way that he involves in the world outside. In fact, you are continuously in touch with the world outside. In fact, Samadhi does not mean that it is something that you get after you die. It is something here and now. It is something while you are interacting in this world. In fact, we have such examples of great saints. After going through the Samadhi, they did the activities of the regular day-to-day life. They still continue to be in the world the way that they were earlier before. Like the way that the Kabir went through the highest states of Samadhi, at the end of he came back and continued to do his weaving activity. Sant Raidas, after going through the greatest of the experiences in the spiritual field, he came back and continued to live as a cobbler, stitching the shoes of the people. This is what they continue to do. That means to say, you are not going to go away from this world because that you go through the spiritual practice, but you belong to this world. Maybe not only that you belong to this world, but you belong to this world in such a way that you become a torchlight for the others to go in this particular path. But unfortunately what happened, several of our saints, they have separated themselves from this world as if going away from this world, is the way that you can go to the spiritual path. As if spiritual path is totally different from being in this world. This world is a wonderful place. Only thing is that you do not get touched by the world outside. Let you live in this world, let not the world live in you. This is what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives the message. And that is exactly what Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita in this Stita Prajna Lakshanas. How you have to be Padma Patramiva Bhasa, like the way the lotus leaf and water. And the way that he gives is very beautiful. The simile that he uses is extraordinary, because the lotus leaf, actually when you take the lotus plant, it lives in the water. The food is water. Its bed is water. Its nourishment is water. Its stay, house is water. Niketa, that's what is water. All those things is nothing water. But at the same time, if you put a drop of water on the top of the lotus leaf, and the water does not wet the lotus leaf. The same way that you live in this world is a wonderful place, and it gives you nourishment. It protects you, it takes care of you. It's a wonderful place, but at the same time, don't let the world live on you. Don't let the world dictate you. This is what is the idea that he says. And the same thing in a separate shloka he also gives. You should not get disturbed by the world outside. The world should not get disturbed by you. That's what he says. Yasman udvijati lokaha, lokan udvijati jayaha. When he says lokan udvijati jayaha, it means that you are staying in Prashanti. You are very beautiful, peaceful, everything is nice. You don't have any distractions. Can you maintain the same state when you go to the city, when you go to the outside world out? That's what makes really that you do not get disturbed by the world outside. You go and sit in some place, and then the people around you feel that you are somebody stranger, they cannot interact with you, you have to be separate, you have to be on a pedestal. That's not the way. You have to be one with them as much as that they feel so comfortable with you. This is what is the state of this prajna. Prajahat yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyeva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnaha tata uchyate. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the very first sutra to determine about somebody who has reached the highest state of meditation, what is that when he comes out? When he comes out of that meditation, interacts with the world outside, the world offers a lot of desires for you. But then you don't get caught up in these desires. Why? He says that the world is there provided to take care of you interacting in this world like the way that you are hungry. And the hunger is only, hunger can be appeased only with the food. There is nothing else which can take away your hunger. Hunger requires food. And that's what is the natural phenomena in this world. Actually, that is why it is said that food belongs to hunger. Whether it is the hunger in the case of a plant, in the case of an animal, in the case of a human being, food belongs to the hunger. Give the food to the hunger, so that you feel satisfied. There is a balance, and that balance that the food and the hunger created is because of the samana, the part of the prana that is there within us. It is the samana which makes this particular balance between our food and hunger. The same way you are tired and then you need to go to sleep and then you sleep. In fact, when you are really tired, you go to such deep sleep that absolutely you have no knowledge of anything outside, you have no knowledge of inside. Nabahyam kanchana veda, nantaram kanchana veda. There is no knowledge of outside, there is no knowledge of outside. But then, what happens to you? After your tiredness is over, you have relaxed enough, suddenly from inside, that the knowledge comes up and then wakes you up. Who wakes you up? In fact, you wake yourself up from within you. What is it which creates this particular balance between your exertion and the sleep? Again, it is that samana. This samana is continuously trying to take care of you in this way. And all these things happen. But once you are satisfied by your hunger by the food, and then afterwards you are okay for the next 5-6 hours. Again you are hungry. and then again you take food. This is something which continuously repeat. The satisfaction once you eat food and then you get it, it is not a permanent satisfaction. It is not a permanent satisfaction. But at the same time, it is also wrong to say that food does not give us satisfaction. Food definitely gives us satisfaction, but food can only give us a limited satisfaction. Sleep can also give us satisfaction, but sleep can only give a limited satisfaction. Don't deny it. Don't deny the food. Don't deny the sleep. Don't deny water, because water quenches your thirst and gives you satisfaction. But only thing is that we should understand that's what is its limitation. So you give this particular thing, and then once you want to have something more than what your satisfaction is there in the form of appeasing hunger or quenching your thirst, and you go beyond that, that's what is kama. How beautifully Krishna brings about kama is going beyond the level of what is required. And like the food item that you see, you are not hungry, but yet you would like to eat. Why? Because that food is wonderful. This is what is the kama, that's what is desire. Desire is something which is beyond what you really require. Similarly, sleep. When you are tired and you go to sleep, that is fine. But if you sleep much more than that, nothing else to do, or sitting in Maitri Milan, the lecture is boring and you sleep. All these things are something which is part of kama. In fact, you excess in this food, it's alright, it is not a big excess. But if you excess in the sleep, it is much more dangerous, much more poisonous than eating more food. Similarly, you need an exercise, you do that exercise to see that your body is kept intact. And that's what you do, it is fine. But people get caught up with various things and go on doing exercise. I've seen somebody going for a run every day, for a jogging, for almost like 15 miles. I mean, it's crazy. It is something that you get caught up in that. Kama can be in so many different ways. Kama sarvan prajahati. That means to say, there is nothing that is required for the body does not become kama for him. What a beautiful definition that is given. Does not exceed in anything, either in the form of eating food or not eating food. Some people eat more food, some people eat less food. Both these things can be kama. Some people sleep less, some people sleep more. Both these things are kama. In fact, that's another important aspect that people get caught up. Somehow these kind of ideas have come that you sleep more, you are a non-yogi. Sleep less, you are a great yogi. I mean, this is something which is absurd. You are tired and you require certain amount of sleep, right amount of sleep, a balanced amount of sleep. That's what is right. But why do you put your sleep into casuality? Because you want to go be spiritual? In fact, people here, in some of the books also write like that. Great yoga books by great yogis, they write, this particular yogi would sleep for 2 hours a day. Wow, you are really inspired. You want to become a great yogi. How? Don't sleep. And then they come to Prashanti, sit next to me, because they heard that I am a great yogi. And they ask, I sleep nice, comfortably, 6 hours a day. Please don't misunderstand me. I sleep comfortably and I enjoy my sleep. But then they come just to tease him. I say, I sleep for 2 hours. How long do you sleep? And that fellow says, I sleep for 8 hours. They sit there, far away from me. You cannot even sit next to me. And how long should I sleep? Sleep for about 6 hours. And that fellow now tries to compress his sleep. And then gets up in the morning. But then sleep will catch him. You see? Gets up in the morning, alarm time this, and his friend beats him and all that, wakes him up. After all those things that he sits for meditation, sleep comes. And I says, what to do? He will come to me again for instructions. I said, as soon as you get up, sit for meditation, sleep comes. That's why go for jogging around the campus. And the poor fellow, everybody is nicely enjoying their yoga or something like that. And this fellow, you see him jogging around the campus. That's another casualty. Because he jogged for the next couple of hours. Then he's really hungry. And then he goes to the kitchen. He has a lot of breakfast. Comes for the lecture class. The sleep will catch. Sleep is such a nice, wonderful. That's why we say Nidra Devi is like a mother. Takes care of you. Does not want to leave you. Even if you do not respect that sleep, the sleep will respect you, catch you somewhere or the other. If not anywhere else, it will catch you when I am giving a lecture and you are sitting in my lecture. That is the moment where the sleep god catches you. And then the fellow comes to me next and says, look, I fall asleep in my lecture class. Why? Because you eat too much of breakfast. Now I say cut down the breakfast. You see, sleep is already casualty. Now that food is also sacrifice. What is all this nonsense? Why are you doing these things? Anyway, to give importance to sleep is worldly, but to give importance to sleep in the way of rejecting the sleep is also materialistic. To give importance to food, that food will give you satisfaction, is a materialistic way. The same way, food is something which comes in the way of your spirituality, is also a materialistic idea. Similarly, eating, sleeping, not only these things, wearing nice wonderful dress, even that people say that, you know, too much dress, this and that, gets me happiness, is the person who is very materialistic. And a person who says, no dress is an impediment in the path of spirituality, even he is also materialist. Materialism can be on both the sides. Balance is something which is very important. That's why don't get caught up in any of these particular kind of kamas. Prajahad yada sarvan kaman partha manogatan. All these things are the same thing which will hit your head, which will hit your mind. Manogatan. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. That means to say, I am satisfied with myself. Only thing is that when hunger is there, I am giving food, but I am not looking for satisfaction in the food. I am not looking for satisfaction in the food. I am not looking for satisfaction in giving up the food. I am not looking satisfaction in the sleep. I am not looking for satisfaction in giving up the sleep. I am not looking for satisfaction in the riches. I am not looking for satisfaction in giving up the riches. When this way, when we look at it, then where is your satisfaction? It is there within you. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha. Such a person is a person who is sthita prajna statochyate. The state of sthita prajna, the state of samadhi, is a state of equanimity, a state of balance. And this state is not a rigid balance. This is not an inert balance. A person who is spiritual is not inert, is very sensitive. It's a very dynamic balance. Such a person is a person more lively in this world, not a person who gives up all those things, not a person who makes a casualty of all these things that is there. So that is why a sthita prajna state, or the state of samadhi, is a state where a person is very lively, very happy. Only thing is that he may not interact in the world the way that he is accessing in this world or rejecting this world, but he is trying a beautiful balance that is there. Like the way that a tightrope walker walking on the rope and then holding a rod in his hand, and the rod swings this way, that way, he can continuously maintain balance. And that balance he can maintain, provided he has that awareness. And that awareness is what is called as prajna. So this is what is sthita prajna. One who established himself in that equanimity, spiritual balance, is a person who is really a person who is a guide for us, who is he is a torch light for us in our spiritual path. Let us follow this way. See that we try to create a wonderful golden mean in our way of life. This is what is the expression given by the Buddhism. That's what is called as a life of a monk is a golden mean. So let us strike that golden mean. Thank you.